This is chapter number 3. What is government? Sarkar. What is government? So, in the newspaper, in the television, you might be hearing government, government, government. So, why it is important for any country? And as a citizen, why this government is important to us? What do this government do? And how do they decide that what they are going to work? And what are the differences between different type of governments? We are going to take two types of government, that is monarchies and democracies. Monarchies means we have king or queen, and democracies means people is having a government. They are making the government. So every country, small or big, needs a government, because there are certain decisions have to be taken. There are certain things to be done for whole country. And if you divide this country into different parts like district and wards, so you need to build road, schools, or if sometimes the onions becomes very expensive, the electricity supply should be continuous to everyone. And there are so many resources that needs to be go to or given to the public. Our country is somewhat poor. It's not a rich country. So in order to emancipate their level or to make them self-sufficient, there are certain programs that is run by the government. And very strategic, like important postal and railway services are run by the government. There is one more thing, as I said, strategy. So strategically important is the boundaries. Every country share borders with other country unless it is an island country. So the neighbors are very important. So if it is somewhat we have hostile neighbor, then we need to protect our boundary. And also the neighbor will always come to our help. So we need to have a very peaceful relationship with other countries all over the world, also the neighbors. And also every citizen should get at least to eat, to have a proper or access to health facilities. These are the government job. Now assume that if some disaster has taken place, like tsunami, like earthquake, like the flood or a famine, then who is going to help the people? It's the government job, government task to assist them. And sometimes there is always conflict. When people are there will be conflict. So they can go to courts. So courts, Nyalaya, judiciary is also a part of government. Whenever human beings live, there may be some good thing, there may be bad thing. So we need that there has to be some discipline, some proper organization. That is, some decision have to be made how the people are going to live, how the people as a society going to flourish. For instance, in order, if there is, say this is a Ladakh boundary, we have a China here, this is a Rajasthan boundary, so we have a Pakistan here. So these are our neighbors. Now whosoever are living near this border, if there is any problem in the nearby areas, so who is going to tell them, who is going to prepare them, who is going to rescue them, and who is going to tell them how to live? So the decisions have to be made, and not only making decision, there has to be implementation of these decisions. So lagu karna, implementation is very important. Just making the laws in the Sansad or Parliament is not enough. We have, or in the cabinet, it has to be implemented, and it has to be told to the people, and bind them that this you have to do. So the government have different levels. If you take our country, whole of the country have a central government. It's in Delhi. Delhi is our capital. So this government is called as the central government. We call it as a union government. We call it as a national government. So for the whole country, we have a single government. Now you go to different levels. Now we know that we have 28 states and 8 union territories. These are based and these are divided on the basis of the language. Now these states are also very big. There are certain states which are so big that they are even bigger than the most of the countries. So now these population, Uttar Pradesh 23 crores, how to manage them? The central government alone cannot be able to handle them. So we need to have, say, I'll just give an example. Canada is having a population of 3.5 crores and India is having a population of 135 crores, and Canada is quite bigger than India. So we have 28 states and we have 8 union territories. So these 28 states have their own government. They have their state government. Every state has a state government. There are 8 union territories. Union territories means governed by the central government or union government. Now there are certain union territories, they have their own government, but some of them they don't have. Like Andaman Nicobar, they don't have. But Delhi is also a union territory and it is having its own government. So these are union territories governed by the central government. Others are having their own state. Even Goa, which is very small place, is a state having its own government. Now, this is a state. We have talked about states, means the country, then states. Now, even the state is sometimes state is also very big. So the state government may not be able to handle it. Means it will handle it, but we need to divide them for proper management, proper organization, and proper governance. For that, what we do? So if you elect the corporators for what? For Vidhayaks, you choose the MLAs, elect the MLAs for the state government. Maximum the MLAs will form, majority will form the Sarkar. You elect MPs for the central government. That is maximum MP of the same, they come together, they will form the government and they will choose their or elect their prime minister. So the first level is union government for whole country, state government for all the 28 states and some of the union territories like Delhi. Then local level. Now this local level can be a sheher or a gaon or a village. So it depends on the strength or the population of the urban area, and it depends on the population of the village. We have municipality and we have panchayat. So municipality, if you go to Mumbai, it's a very, very big city. So it has municipal corporation. If it is small city, it's Nagar Panchayat. Coming to this Panchayat, small villages or one village has village Panchayat. Every village has a village Panchayat. Then you combine few villages and it will make the intermediate Panchayat. And then all these intermediate Panchayat, the representative will form a district Panchayat. So this is how the differences are. Now the government, the main thing is to make the laws. And for everyone who is living in the country, means even for the biggest person, richest person, and for the poorest one. Now, though only making law is not enough. We need to enforce this. Government has all the power to enforce, to implement these laws. So, making laws and enforcing it. For example, if you are driving without your license or wearing a helmet, the government has said that if you do this, you may be jailed, you may be jurmana, you will have to pay some fine, right? If a person feels or a citizen feels that his fundamental rights or her fundamental right is being breached, he is not hired because of his religion or caste, he is Muslim or he is SC, then anyone can approach the court and the court will decide, and the court will take care that the government is not doing, government has to see and the police also has to see. So there are two types of government that we will discuss here. So one is monarchy and one is democracy. If you see, India is democracy and Zimbabwe and this Saudi Arabia has democracy. Means in Saudi Arabia we have king king. In India, we have prime minister, that is elected by the people, not directly but indirectly. So this is how the monarch, and let me tell you, Saudi Arabia is way ahead than India. It's a developed country, advanced country, way ahead, and whole Arab states the strongest one. Now coming to the monarchy and a democracy, ruler. Let me tell you, China is also a communist state, but it is also advanced. Now coming to the different aspects here, who are rulers? So monarchy, we have single ruler. In democracy, it's actually the people, the representative of people who are ruling, not the people. People is on the background, we have people only. The selection of the ruler, monarchy, there is no chance. Whosoever is a king, his son will be the next king. Democracy, there will be a proper election and people will decide who is going to rule them, who is going to make decision for them. Ruling system, ruling mechanism, monarchy is royal, right? Only few lines are written and whatever the Raja says or the king says, that is the final ruling system. Okay, and they have good royal life. Democracy, there are three parts: legislative, legislature, judiciary and executive. Nagarpalika, Vidhayika, and Nyayapalika, Vidhayika, judiciary and Karyapalika. In type is this traditional system, monarchy, king and then king, next king, like this. But democracy, it's not like that. You know, the people are there to choose or elect. Like we have elected Modi ji. Political rights, people don't have a lot of political rights in monarchy. There is no freedom of speech. You know, kode pad jayenge. And if you come to democracy, everyone has a right, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, and the constitution is supporting them, and the judiciary is guarding them. So freedom is there. Type of authority, it's traditional. Monarchy is traditional. But here, the type of authority is actually the representative you have elected. Those you have elected to rule them, like the corporator, like the Vidhayaks, MLAs, or like the MPs you have elected. So these three you directly elect. Others, like the Rajya Sabha members, you don't elect. Now, India is a democracy. India is a proper democracy. Now, the basic idea is that everyone should feel that we are also the part of this government, or we are also running the government, participating in the government. So, democratic government in our time is also called as representative democracies. Here, people they participate, but they will not participate directly. They will just elect their representative, and these representative, this pratinidhi, they are going to make the decision for them. They will make the final decisions. They will rule them. And in India, we have all adults. Whosoever is more than 18, men, women, anyone, they can vote. And let me tell you certain thing. This voting, which we have got just like that, it was not like that. Previously, only the people who are learned or who are educated and they have a minimum amount of property, they are only given chance to vote. That means the women, poor, or any person who is not having that much of property, they were not allowed, and even the uneducated. So in India, before independence, this was the case. A small minority or an elite class were able to give the vote, and they decide the fate of all the people. But after that, Gandhiji and other people, other netas, they said this is unfair. Everyone has a right to vote. Everyone should be given the right to vote. And whosoever, men, women, uneducated, poor. So this is called as universal adult franchise. This is called universal adult franchise. Now, let me tell you that what happened. There are various countries which we are called as advanced. They didn't give this universal adult franchise. It was the time of First World War, and most of the fighters, or you can say men, they went for fighting. So the women were just considered as an object, and they were living at the house. But now the work was suffering. The official work was suffering because there were no men. So they called women to do this. But when the women came, they actually did a very good job. And people thought that, women are way better worker, or, as an administrator as men are. So this is how the women power came into people notice. So these women, along with those people who understood this, they fought for the voting. This voting right should be given to women also. And finally, they got success after, a lot of people died, a lot of women died, they were sent to jail. They actually, worked hard to get this voting right. So American women got the right to vote in 1920, while in UK, it was 1928. So this is all about this chapter. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.